consistency, mastery, especially when you're coming through seasons of transitions, relationship endings, and everything that life brings. And so again, I'm Tanika Maria, and it's been a moment since I've been out here on YouTube and on Haps. And I wanted to just share really quickly on the topic of how do you know when you are healed? That's a loaded question, right? That's a really, really loaded question. And honestly, healing is nuanced. Healing goes through peaks and valleys. It's not a linear process. If you imagine an X and a Y axis, we think healing is not like this straightforward diagonal line, right? Healing is more squiggly. It's a little bit more like all over the place. You're going up and then you go back down and then you make another loop and you come back 10 steps back and 3 steps forward. Healing looks like that, and it's nuanced, and it comes in layers because you think you're healed and then something else comes up. You think you're healed, there's another trigger. You think you're healed and then you see something and get a flashback, or you have a memory and it takes you back there again. So how do you know that you are indeed making progress in your healing journey? So I'm going to share 10 ways that you can know. Number one, and this has to do with relationship endings, transitions, anything in life that has impacted you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, anything that has happened in your life, be that a divorce, a relationship breakup, getting out of a church, busting up some business mishap or failure or partnership, whatever, right? But it's impacted you such that you're not the same person you were when you went into it. When you leave it, you're different. It's impacted you in a negative way and it's profound. So that's how you know that you've been traumatized or impacted in some way. So, how do you know that you're making progress? How do you know that you're healing? Number one, when you have answered your soul questions between you and God, and you know who you and are at peace with where you are, and you are comfortable in your own skin. This one has layers to it. Sometimes we feel like we do, and then something happens, and again, we lose peace with ourselves. But if you can ever get to the point where, in spite of the good, the bad, and the ugly, which leads into one of my other points, where you're comfortable with who you are and where you're at right now, you're comfortable with who you are and who you are becoming, in spite of how it looks in the present moment, and you're comfortable in your own skin with the woman or man of God that you're becoming, then that's the sign of healing. That's the sign of growth. Number two, here's sign number two. When you no longer look outside of yourself for worthiness, validation, attention, affirmation, approval, and love. Now, I'm not saying you don't need that from other human beings, that you do need it within the context of community and just family and having people in your life that love you. But if it's at a point where you absolutely live, you cannot live unless you get this certain affirmation and patted up and pumped up from the outside by other people, be it someone of the opposite sex, your family, colleagues, co-workers, people in general, where you're always looking for attention, always needing to be affirmed. There's no capacity within you where you can affirm and be rooted within yourself. You're always looking outside to be validated, always looking outside in what you do and your title and other people and what they're saying. If that's what you need to feel good, right? If you can get to the point where you're not needy and graspy and thirsty for that, that is the sign where you're not going external for that affirmation, attention, approval, validation, sense of worthiness. You're not looking for your title and what you can do and all of your performance and how excellent and wonderful, when it's just intrinsically inside of you that you're affirmed and valued at enough. That is a sign that you are healed. Number three, when you can face the good, the bad, and the ugly about yourself and still love yourself without the shame, without the critical voice, without the judgment. This is a big one. This is one that I really still have to work on quite a bit, honestly. When you're able to face the good, the bad, and the ugly about yourself and still love yourself without the shame. And if you've been in situations where someone put you down, if you've been in situations where you've been judged and when you've been criticized and when you felt like you were attacked, or when you see your own mistakes and struggles, it's a hard thing to do. But if you're able to face all of who you are in your imperfections, all of who you are in your mess, and still without the shame, and still progress and do the best you can with where you are, That is a sign of healing. Number four, when you can come into a relationship with the intention of sharing love that you already have cultivated in your heart, like real love, real vulnerability, and you're not coming into relationships from a place of trying to get love from a deficit. I'm coming into this relationship and trying to get and grasp for love from a place of deficit and emptiness. If you can come into a situation, especially when I'm talking about romantic relationships, from a place of I'm here to share the love that I already have. I'm full of love. I know that I'm loved. I know God loves me. I love me. I'm here to share all this love that I got instead of coming in all thirsty, like looking for it. Being coming into it full, that is a sign that you are healed. Another sign of healing is when the thought of opening your heart up to love again and being vulnerable doesn't make you run in fear, and you don't balk and you don't hesitate at the idea of opening your heart again. If you're still balking and hesitating and hemming and hawing and making drama and ending stuff because you're scared to really open your heart, and you have lots of unrealistic expectations for a perfect partner that no one can meet, then you're not healed and you're still trying to control it. You're still trying to control so that you can avoid pain. And so you're making reasons, right? If you're in that place of hesitating and at the thought of opening your heart, then you're not really ready. But if you are ready to open your heart, then that is a sign of healing. Another sign of healing is when you are ready to be held accountable to heal, to grow, to walk in your purpose and be the best version of yourself that God has called you to be. That is a sign that you're on the healing path, that you are on your healing journey. When you're not willing to be held accountable, and that can be painful. I mean, to push yourself and for somebody to know what you want to do and what your plans are and what God's assignment is on your life, and to be held accountable, like what you doing? How come you haven't written that book? What are you doing? Most people run from that. People don't want that. But when you're willing to be held accountable for that, that is a sign that you're ready. Another sign of being healed. How do you know? When you value what God thinks of you and what you think of you more than what the opinions of man. And see, we're worried about what our family thinks. We're worried about what our friends think. We're worried about what the people at work think. We're worried about what our exes think. We're worried about our colleagues. We're worried about people on Facebook, Instagram, Clubhouse. We're worried about what they think of us. And when we get to the point where the only opinions that matter is what God thinks and what we think, then now we're healed. Amen. Another one, another sign of healing is when you can be truly content alone and enjoy your own presence. The worst form of loneliness, according to Mark Twain, is to feel alone in your own presence, where you don't even want to be by your own self, and you start getting restless and anxious when you're alone. But if you can go out to eat by yourself and enjoy a nice meal in a restaurant, you can be alone by yourself in nature and just spend quiet time and be happy and content. Just you, me, myself, and I. That's a sign of healing. That's good, and you're not running and anxious and restless and all tore up because you're alone. That is a sign of healing. And finally, and this is my last sign, and I'll be out of here for now. A sign, let's see, that you're healed is, and this is in particular when it comes to romantic relationships and things of that nature, when you can see posts and pictures of your ex in public or in passing, and you don't feel anything negative or positive. You feel actually sort of neutral. You feel like that ex boyfriend, that ex girlfriend is like a regular person. You wish them no ill will. You have the love of God for them, just like you have for the next person down the street. It's like you don't have feelings of ooh ooh gaga. That's my boo romantic kind of sexual or erotic or whatever kind of love. You don't have that kind of love for them. You don't want them wish them ill will. You don't want something bad to happen to them. But you're neutral. You feel that normal feeling like a person down the street. If you saw them get hurt or caught, you would feel something, right? Well, that's how you feel about the ex. That's how you know you're healed. You have the love of God for them, like a person down the street, on TV that's going through something. You want them to be happy, and you don't feel triggered up, and you just can see them, and it's nothing there, and it's not negative. It's not overly over the top positive. It's just neutral. That is the sign that you're healed. But if you're still super triggered up, at the thought of them, if you're having flashbacks and you're going through all of these scenarios and memories and rehashing and conversation and regrets and stuff, then that's a sign that you're still processing it and you're still healing it. You're not quite there yet, but you may be very well in the journey. So again, I am Tanika Maria. I'm all about helping my high achieving women of faith. I coach and counsel high achieving women of faith, women of purpose, women who are about their business, but also men, on how to get real, be healed, and move forward in emotional wholeness, peace, clarity, resiliency, mastery, being able to go through life transitions, including breakups, not just to bounce back, but to bounce forward and move on from that loss, in that transition, in that messy middle when you're going through different things. Definitely, definitely for those of you on YouTube, when I load this up, click the link in my bio. I have a downloadable free audio teaching. It's material that I don't teach here live publicly. Download that free audio and the worksheet to learn about 5 ways that you may be blocking love, or the 5 mistakes that we're making in our healing process that's blocking the flow of love and that's really keeping us stuck. So you want to make sure you click the link in my bio to get a hold of that. And definitely, definitely also click the link in my bio to get access to my books on Amazon: How to Get Out of That Dead End Relationship Now, A Christian Woman's Guide on How to Get Real, Be Healed, and Move Forward, and also A Woman's Journey Home: 14 Keys to Ascending to the Next Dimension. These books are chock full of wisdom and strategy and insight that will help you, because if your emotions are tore up, if you're running from yourself, you're abandoning yourself, you're going outside for love, you're still triggered and flashback and got all this stuff, these books will help you get out of that and move forward. So again, I'm Tanika Maria. I plan to be back out here again soon. Take care. Click the link on my bio, get connected, get the materials you need so that you can move forward. And I'll be back out here again soon. Take care and talk to you soon.